the first day of CrimeCon Denver, a convention about everything, and I mean everything, true crime. And one of the guests that will be speaking at CrimeCon is right here in the studio with me. This is Erin Moriarty, a correspondent for 48 Hours. Erin, thanks so much for being here.
You know, it's fun being here. And it's actually, I have mixed feelings about CrimeCon because thousands of people come to talk about true crime.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I get to say hi to people who watch the show. They're very interested in the cases. So in the end, I'm always so happy I came.
And we're happy to have you here. Erin, let's talk about, you have a new podcast series that talks a lot about different crimes. Tell me about it.
Well, this one in specific was inspired by a 48 Hours show. It is called 15 Inside the Daniel Marsh Murders. And the reason why we're doing it is this was a very unusual case. This is a young man who was diagnosed as a psychopath when he was 15. Wow. A thrill killer, someone who committed crimes simply because he wanted to know what it felt like to kill someone. So he's in prison now, but the big question is, why is he a psychopath? Was he made that way? Was he born that way? Was his upbringing caused this? And what do we do? Do we keep him? He's only in his mid-20s now. Does he stay in prison the rest of his life? And so it's kind of a scary but very interesting case.
No, that certainly is extremely interesting. We know that you have also invited some special guests to kind of talk about your podcast. Tell me maybe who some of those guests are.
Well, I actually invited the psychiatrist who at one point interviewed Daniel Marsh and thought, this guy's changed. He's, you know, he's gone through therapy. His feeling about that has evolved. The problem with psychopaths, as you get older, they're manipulative, they're charming, and they don't have a lot of feelings toward other people. So the big question is, if you ever let him out, will he kill again? So I have the psychiatrist, and I also have a granddaughter of one of the victims. There were two victims, because you want to talk about the impact of crime on families and how it doesn't go away after there's a trial. And when someone continues to try to get out of prison, then it continues to victimize the families.
Absolutely. You already highlighted several characteristics of this individual, but what maybe sets this suspect apart in this case? Well,
his age,
15.
You know, somebody had mentioned to me, well, boys like to brag, but the only reason why he got caught, he's such a smart guy and had planned these two murders so well that the only reason why he got caught was he bragged about it. I just don't know anyone else quite like that. And in fact, his friend who turned him in, who had enjoyed all the same kind of video games with him, he has feelings. So even between those two, one turned in the other, those two young men, there was such a difference. One had feelings, empathy, the other enjoyed killing. So he really is unusual in the sense I don't think I've ever run into anyone like this. And the FBI special agent who interrogated him told me that even to this day, he's the scariest person he had ever interrogated.
He sounds scary. This is,
I know, but he is going to be eligible for parole before he's 40. So these questions about whether you can rehabilitate someone, whether someone will kill again, those questions are going to come up in that case and will come up in other cases.
Absolutely. Erin, what made you choose this particular suspect for your podcast?
Because you couldn't cover everything in 1 hour on 48 Hours.
Yeah.
And because the case has changed since we first went on it. There have been 2 hearings since then, because there is a feeling in this country, and it's fair, that young offenders can be treated, can be rehabilitated. Their brains aren't fully formed when they're 15 or 16. So that is true in the case of most teen offenders. But what do you do when you have someone who's not only a psychopath, but actually scored the highest on the psychopathy test? What do you do with someone like that? Can you run the risk of putting someone like that back in the community? So that's really why we were focused. And also to remind people, too, that we always think crimes are committed by someone who knows the victim. The investigations are so much tougher on families, the victims' families, when it is a stranger killer, someone who just picked them out of the blue.
Okay, Erin, and to wrap us up, I'm so intrigued. This question is for me and obviously our viewers at home. Where can people listen to this podcast? I need to know.
Well, on any, so you've got Apple, you've got Odyssey.
Okay.
On Paramount Plus. So anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can, and it's 15 inside the Daniel Marsh murders. But we have lots of 48-hour podcasts. There's Postmortem.
Yes, you do.
Natalie Morales and Anne Marie Green will be here also at CrimeCon. They're going to do a live Postmortem.
Wow.
And we have the 48 Hours podcast. So there's tons of podcasts with 48 hours. Because there are a lot of cases, I hate to say.
Yeah.
And interesting cases.
This is very fascinating, this conversation in itself. Erin, thank you so much for joining us.